Hey gardeners, spring is here and it's time to kick off seed starting. In this video, I'm going to take you through 5 of my favorite crops for spring and summer gardening. For my seeds today, I've got some that are small, like tomatoes and peppers, and I've got others that are a little larger, like cucumbers and squash. So I'm going to be using 2 different sizes of seed starting trays. The first are the 72 cell trays. I've got these in a solid tray as well as the 6 cell trays. So those will be used for the smaller seeds. For the larger seeds, I'm going to be using the 2.5 inch pots. Filling the 2.5 inch pots is really straightforward. I'm just going to put enough potting mix to leave about a 1/2 inch for our seeds, and then we'll top them off. This technique is a little different because the air prune trays have holes in the bottom. So what we're going to do is put the tray down in the potting mix and start filling it in. Take care to make sure that the corners are filled properly. And then we just brush off any excess. Then we just take the tray and let it drop in place. That allows the potting mix to settle in place. The technique for the 6 cell air prune trays is a little different. What I like to do is take one and fill it, and then use the second one to tamp it in. And that'll leave the space that you need for seeds. Now that our trays are filled, it's time to sow our seed. I always start by putting my labels in place so I remember what I planted. In this tray, I'm going to do 2 crops, peppers and tomatoes. I'm doing peppers and tomatoes in the same tray because the seeds are about the same size and the germination rates can be close. In the event that germination takes longer for a certain variety, such as the hot peppers, I can just as easily pull out the cells that I need and put them in another tray. The first pepper that I'm going to sow is a sweet pepper. It's the Golden Cow Wonder, and this is the classic bell pepper that you'd see in your grocery stores. When sowing pepper seeds, my target is 1 to 2 seeds per cell. The next pepper I'm going to sow is the poblano pepper. These are also from True Leaf Market. These are one of my favorite peppers. They come in a nice dark green color. They get this really smoky but not super hot flavor, and they're just one of my favorites. Switching over to tomatoes, I'm doing 2 indeterminate varieties. The first up is the Mortgage Lifter. This is a larger slicing tomato and it climbs, so you want to put it in an area where you can either hang it or let it go up a trellis. Switching over to our larger seeds for the 2.5 inch pots, my first crop is going to be the cucumbers, and these are homemade pickled cucumbers from True Leaf Market. My next variety of cucumber is the straight 8 cucumber. This is a variety that I see in the grocery store quite a bit, so think of it more of a salad cucumber. For the 2.5 inch pots, I'm only doing 8 of each. So in this case, I will be sure to do 2 seeds per cell, which I really don't like to do because I'm not a fan of thinning, but I want to make sure that I get germination. For my squash, I'm going with the Golden Summer Crookneck squash. This is another one of those that I see in the grocery store quite a bit. And while it is fun to grow, the stuff that you don't always see in the store, I also like growing the more common varieties for comparison and then branching out. The next crop I'm sowing is zucchini, and this is the Black Beauty variety. I don't think I've grown these before, so I'll be interested to see how these turn out. So I have all the seeds sown in the trays. The next step is going to go back and cover each seed with a light covering of the potting mix. I like to just brush over the top to make sure we got nice even coverage. One more drop for good measure. That'll settle the seeds in place. And my final step is to water the seeds in. I do this in 2 ways. First, I like to mist over the top to dampen the top of the soil. And finally, I like to bottom water using the shallow trays. I like to use about a 1/2 inch of water in the bottom tray. That allows the potting mix to soak up the water, and that gives nice, even moisture throughout the potting mix. I'll let that soak in for about 30 minutes or so, and then put the seeds in the house for them to germinate. Thanks for watching. Check back in a few days and I'll have a germination update on all the seeds.